Okay, we're gonna see how well this goes. I have a Casio CZ-101 and it's a little messy. I'm in a bit of a confined space, but I wanted to make a video because I've got quite a bit of work to do on this. I probably should have opened it earlier, but I'm going to open it now anyway so you can see what it looks like when you open one of these. Let me push some stuff out of the way. Going to do some soldering, some crimping, hopefully replace a LED and put in an OLED screen. It's not focused, but keep my phone near me because I have the focusing app on it. And let's see if it works. Well, there it is. Okay. Focus back on the Casio. Okay. I do have a wider angle lens, but honestly, I think this will work for now. Okay. Let's get those out of the way. All right. I've got a strap on this, but it's okay because I can take the back off easily because, well, you'll see in a second. So pop the battery door, take out the batteries, or at least two of them. Making sure my recorder is going. Yep. All right. Now I'm doing this a bit blind because I can't lean over it. But there are quite a number of screws. They don't always lift out even with a magnetic screwdriver, as you can see. Yeah. Yeah. This hole here is actually the reset. I'm not going to go into it, but there are plenty of videos that talk. Well, it's not, I don't want to say reset. It loads, well, I'll just go into it. It loads from somewhere deep in the RAM, or the ROM. It loads the presets into the editable bank. I'm going to fast forward this because this is going to take a while. Okay. Now, I'm going to lift off the back. And normally, you have to be very careful because it's soldered. But, let me spin this around so you can see it. Yeah, I didn't fully think this through. Guess all my videos are a bit clumsy, so alright, I installed this clip. So taking off the back is that easy. So much easier. Alright, I'm going to spin this around. And I forgot that the guitar strap doesn't go off at the back, it stays on the body, so I'm going to take it off so I can easily move this around. You got to be careful with the hooks too, they sometimes can break. Okay. Alright, so we have the CZ-101, which I'm going to spin around because I'm used to working on this end first. Okay, so the CZ-101 is a nightmare. Let's just put it that way. I'm not sure how deep I'm going to get into it today, but I am going to replace the screen. The LED, I'm not sure. I'll show you. So all of these ribbon cables, honestly, if I was keeping this, I think I might replace all of them with detachable connectors, but there are so many of them. And this thing is layered. It goes in and then it's hard soldered to the next layer underneath that, and then it's hard soldered to the next layer. So this is a bit of a nightmare to take apart. But let's see how we can do it. All right, so there's 5 screws on this main power board. They're smaller ones, so I'm gonna keep track of those. And as soon as I lift it, it'll get stuck because there's a grounding wire. I've thought about putting in a detachable connection there, but it does have a screw, so it's not the most It's not like you have to unsolder it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. Trying to do this one-handed. All right. Now, you pull it away from the case here to get the connections to pop up. Now, normally, some of this is wire tied. Oh, I lost a connection again. Well, I'll have to solder that. Just tells you how volatile everything is. So I'm going to have to tip the whole board up. And there we go. I've got to unscrew this one. Which I think might be a little stripped out, but oh, well, there it is. All right. Now, the next thing I need to do, and I've already resoldered this once. The next thing I need to do are 2 screws down here. Let's see if you can see them. One there and one there that hold the power button in. So let me take that out. Just making sure I actually hit record on my camera. All right. 2 shorter screws, and that lifts out. Now, I'll cut in a screenshot of what I ordered, but if you ever have one of these break, I had to kind of, I guess I could have, yeah. This is jury rigged. I mean, it's soldered in now. It works, but you can see the little prongs sticking out because I had to peel off the old button. It didn't work. Then I ordered this new one. Let's see if I can focus on that. I ordered this new one, and it was 1 level too tall, so I had to snip it off and then kind of sand it or trim it with a blade to get it the right height. And then this snaps right on, and it works. It locks down, pops up. So that's the power button. So we will definitely have to repair that. I just popped a solder joint, basically. All right, so as you can see, that's one board. Well, let's do the relay right now. Okay, so yeah, and this worries me too because I keep having to flip this over. I already soldered these on, and I hope they stay. But I'm going to replace this, and let me make some space. There we go. Let me plug my soldering iron in. And be careful, too many moving parts here. All right, I do have the replacement here. But let me get my soldering iron heating up. There we go. And my solder sucker. All right, slide this back over. I think I took this off once before. I actually took, well, now you can't see it. I actually took both of these off, and they weren't the problem, so I put them back on with some thermal paste on that one. All right. Yeah, there's 6. I'm going to bump my soldering iron if I'm not careful. There are 6 solder points down here. And then this cable, which I don't want to accidentally mess with. All right. Let's see if I can There we go. I'm just going to use the solder sucker and hopefully lift these all off. I don't know what that sound is. I don't know if that was my stomach. Yeah. Go. Move this back so you can see what I'm doing. Heating it up and sucking the solder off. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that sound was. It wasn't my stomach because I still hear it. Might be my chair. Okay. I may have to hold the soldering iron to it. Nope. Pops right off. All right. Got to be careful not to... this is really not the professional way to do this. I need a real workbench. This table is actually laying on a bed. I just don't have a place yet. I don't have a full-on workshop like I had before. So, hopefully, the pinouts don't match. And I bought this from Cintar. That's going to be a problem, I think. It is what Cintar said would fit. And it clearly does not. Let me see if I can stretch the pins. No. So, the part that Cintar says will fit does not fit. I might just have to put the old one back on for now. It's just noisy. And supposedly this is the solution to the noisiness. Okay, I'm also going to fix this solder joint here. Well, it's good for now, but that's not really a permanent fix. Okay. So let's focus on the screen. Let me spin this around. So the screen is down there. And the problem is you have to loosen this top board in order to get to it. So, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 screws. The outside screws are, oh, let me show you this too. I wonder if I can focus on it. There's a another ground here. So not only is it a screw, but you have to lift it off and make sure that you put it back when you're done. And there are hardwired solder cables, hardwired cables here going to the wheel, and I'm assuming the volume control. All right, where else? We got one in the middle here. I really hate the inside of this. I don't know how they manufactured these. Okay, so I'm going to spin it a bit so that hopefully you can see this. And try not to burn or melt anything here. My soldering iron. Okay. So I'm just going to lift this and move it just enough to get to 2 screws. I don't know if you can see this. There's one here. And there's one. Well, hang on. I don't want to break anything. It's very delicate. There's one back under here. Right there. So I'm going to undo those two first. Very carefully. Actually, well, you might not have to do the one on this side. I can't remember if it's holding anything, but set that aside. Screw this one. And then, I know, I feel like this is janky, but, okay. So then, there are these two screws, and there are two more. You can barely see it. It's right there. So I'm going to unscrew those two, or those four. There's two on either side. And those four are smaller than all the rest. Someday I'll have a proper workshop again. So on the, there's a tiny hole down through there. See it? To get to that one. There we go. Now I should, yep, be able to lift it out. Now what you're seeing here, I'm not using this connector. This is a DX7 screen. And I'm going to unsolder this. I'm just trying to think. I took a screenshot of this before, but I'm using my phone as a way to focus. It's controlling my camera, but let me go to my photos or my camera app and take a picture of this one more time. There's also a website I'm going to consult because the one that's in there is not OLED, and we don't need, I think it's pin 3 and pin 16. So I'm going to do an edit and come back to this. The new one, which I actually made, I'm going to solder in a little pin thing so that it can be exchanged easily or swapped out. All right, yeah, 14 pins, except I need my other piece, which is behind me somewhere. There we go. All right. So this is actually two pieces I super glued together because I didn't have one. I didn't want to wait to order one. But I have the crimp pin out tools, so it will it'll go into this, which will be on this, like so. We don't need pins 15 and 16. I'm just double checking on the internet here. Man, pin 3. Oh, pin 3 also doesn't get connection, because I think that is the that's contrast, which we don't need. Oh, come on. Reddit. There it is. Oh, that's different. Oh, no, it's not. No, if you flip it over. No. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Why does that say pin 14, though? Oh, okay. Yeah, it starts with 14. So... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 14 of them. So this person connected pin 3 for some reason, which is the pink one. But it won't do anything. I have to double check. Yeah, I wish they'd list the colors on here, but pin 3, no connection. All right. Well, we will leave that one off and see, because it's only a crimped in. So, all right. So I'm going to leave the old one on here and solder in my little connector for the new one, which I don't think will be an issue for space, because you can see, yeah, space won't be a problem. All right, and I'll probably fast forward this, because what I'm going to do is just put tiny drops of solder on all 14 pins. Wake my soldering iron up here. And you can't see what I'm doing, so let me sort that out. All right, I'm going to lean away from my very directional microphone. Oh, you know what I need? Let me move the keyboard out of the way. I have this nifty tool. I might as well use it. Here we go. All right. Trying not to burn myself on my soldering iron. All right, come on, little guy. So I think I'm going to go in from the top and solder it on the bottom. Yeah, so these little cables, these little holders don't work all that great. Okay, there we go. Now the only problem is I need to get the first one soldered on. Oh, you can't see it. There we go. And I'm not... All right, let me touch the back of my camera and see if I can focus this. There we go. It ain't perfect, but yeah, there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of jankily do the first one here and try not to get my head in the shot. Okay, it's not my best solder job, but all the pins are in. For now, I'm going to turn off the soldering iron. Let's take a look at this. There we go. Cool. 1 through 14. See if I can focus again. Yeah, there you go. So then this will just fit on there like that. Now what I'm not going to video the entirety of, I'm going to unsolder the other screen. I don't want this to turn into like a 4-hour video, but I'm going to crimp the wires. So hang on. Here I unhooked my soldering iron. Let me move some things around here. Get those out of the way. Actually, I might need these. So I've got to unsolder all of those colored wires and remember the order of them. And then crimp them into this and then just slide it into that. I might tape it just to make sure it stays, but all right. So I did take a picture of this. So honestly, I should be able to just pop these off. Let's heat up the soldering iron. Like I said, this is a DX7 screen, but it works. So yeah, pretty cool about that. I may have to trim these, get them to fit, to clean off the ends, with all the solder. This is really not the right way to do this on top of the other board. And of course you can't see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can, yeah. I need an overhead cam. But what I'm doing here is I'm just touching these, literally just touching the end and heating it up and pulling the wire off. Last one. All right. Now, I'm not going to take the clip off of there because it goes with the DX7. Okay. I do not need the soldering iron now. All right. Let me scoot this back. So, got this big jumble of wires. And it's just going to be impossible for me to video this, but let me show you the parts. And then I'll just stop everything. Make sure my batteries aren't dying. Okay. Let's see if I can focus on this. Sort of. These, you just take one off of the little wire they came on. I don't think I'm going to be able to focus on that. Yeah. I'm shooting in 4K, so I might be able to zoom in on it. So the cable goes into it, and then I use this crimper tool, which is actually too big. I have to use the smallest one, I think, on the end, all the way on the tip. And it gets crimped, and then the whole assembly slides in there, and a certain part of it, when it comes through here, a little clip pops so it stays in. That's what that hole is for. The clip pops out into that hole. And then we just need to put the new screen in place and slide it in and pray it all works. So I'm going to do all that crimping now and come back when I'm done. Okay, got all the crimped wires in here, and took a little bit of work to make sure they lined up, but they do fit on there. I should have properly bought the right end, but I think it'll work. And you notice pin 3 is not up to the right one. No, I did not. Pin 3 should be the blue one. So I'm going to put this down and wire the pink one back in and take the blue one out. Okay. It's a little mind-numbing to work backwards and opposite and around the other way, and this thing has pin 14 at one end and then 1 here, so it's 15, 16, and then 1, 2, 3, and so the blue one, which I will wrap with some electrical tape. I'm going to leave the crimped end on it, because if someone ever wants to put another screen back on for some reason, they could. Just pop it into the connector. Okay, so the next thing, push this back a bit. That is the old screen. This is the new one. And I need to unscrew 2 small set screws. Now, these screws go in different places depending on if the screen fits better or not. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave the plastic on there for right now. Okay, so this slides into these little, there are little notches. There, you can see them. It slides into the little notches. And I got to double check that it's, yes, it is sitting flat. So the screws are going on the top. Very carefully. This is the hardest part, because you got to make sure it stays in the notches. I think my family is home, so my daughter may knock on my door in a minute. Yeah, this is so, like, you got to just pick it up. There we go. I'm not really being cautious about static. I should be. Hopefully I don't blow anything out. Come on. Okay. The new one's in place. Peel off the plastic. I have not tested this for fit. But hopefully, might help if I plug it in first. Yeah, it's on there pretty well, so. I'm missing something. Oh, it goes back farther. Those holes are not for it. Come on. Yeah, the wires are a bit tight. Come on. You just have to be careful not to damage anything. All right, so 2 of the holes line up. My daughter was trying to come in my office. All right. I do not want to break this thing. And this connector may be problematic. And now I've got it stuck in here at the wrong angle. All right. Something is in the way, and I'm hoping it's not the connector, but it is not sliding back in place. So I'm trying to see why it won't go all the way back. The right side is fine. The left side is not going. It's so close there. But it feels jammed. Something's... Alright, hang on. It's gotta be the connector I used, but the weird thing is the Yamaha one was there. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, the screen is working. It looks like it's flickering because of the LED, but it's fine in person. This has definitely been an adventure. I tried to use a removable connector on the screen, and it didn't really fit. There wasn't enough space in the end when the wires had to roll back over on top of the extra connector. But when I plugged it in, I wasn't paying close attention to all the little wires, and it started smoking, and the lights didn't come on. And so I freaked out and shut everything off, and I slowly went over it. One of the components on the main power board, the solder joints, the solder contacts on the back of the circuit board came off originally when I had tried to replace that part, and came off even more once I burned that part out, which is what was smoking. But you can also hear the noise. So and you saw I tried to replace the relay, and it was the wrong size. So this is a afterwards voiceover. The CZ-101 is finished, but it went through a bit of a mess. Everything put back together, but I thought I must have fried something on it because it was super noisy. I mean, really noisy. So I just set it on a shelf for a couple of months, which is why this video has taken so long to get finished. So I pulled it back out a few days ago, and I thought, I wonder if it's the screen, because I had also replaced an LED. that was burned out. I had to hand carve one because they don't make them anymore. But when I wired it up, a bunch of other LEDs stopped working, and I just thought I broke it. So a couple days ago, I took the screen out, and when I disconnected the screen, all the noise went away and all the LEDs started working again. So my assumption is the OLED screen just takes too much power. So I replaced it with a regular backlit LED, and it was too small, so I had to create a frame for it, none of which I documented because I was just kind of doing this on the fly and didn't think to set up my camera and everything. But all that to say, it's all put back together and everything works properly. The sound is fine, it's not noisy, the screen works and you can see it in the dark, all the LEDs work. So in the end, it worked really well. So you can see from these photos that everything's good. Again, I wish I had documented everything, but I don't really want to take it all apart again to show you. But the screen is in there. It was a little wonky getting in, but it works. So lesson learned, don't be impatient when you're putting stuff back together. And one thing I've got to do is really learn some more about like amperages and power requirements for components that I'm putting into a new board. What I bought off Reverb was supposed to be a drop-in replacement, but clearly it drew too much power. So it works in a DX7, so that's what I've put it in as one of my DX7s. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe, and I hope to get more of these videos out in a more timely manner. It's just been a little crazy lately, so it's been a while since I put a video out. But thanks for watching, and I hope you come back for more.